At the beginning of the story, we see a young boy standing in front of a forge. The boy was heating a sword with the forge. He steeled his resolve and raised the hot sword. He opened his mouth and bit the hot sword. He shoved it into his mouth. Ever since this boy, whose name is Arhan, was young, his father would often tell him a story. While standing in front of a huge portrait of a swordsman, Arhan's father told him that every member of the caravan family must remember this story. He placed his hand on Arhan's head and told him that their family might currently be living in a small village far from the capital, but this was not the case 200 years ago. Their status was unmatched at that time. With a look of hope in his eyes, Arhan's father told him that their family had a knight called the God of War. They also possessed righteous supervisors who were favored by the king and respected by everyone. The man pat his son's head and told him that their family was chosen by the sword, and they have produced several sword masters for generations. This is why everyone treated them with respect. The caravan family were the invincible protectors. Arhan's father placed his hand on his shoulder and told him that he will one day take over his position and become the head of the caravan family. He told his son that he must always live with the pride of the caravan family flowing through his veins to regain their glory and to stand tall once more as the protector of the land. This was the duty of the caravan family. Some years later, we see the older Arhan cutting some wheat in a wheat field. At this point, the boy came to the realization that the heroic tales his father used to tell him were just tall tales. He saw his family as disgraced nobles clinging to the past. This was a pretty common thing among nobles. He believed that his family wouldn't be living as landlords in their poor village if the stories were true. They wouldn't be spending time doing farm work with the tenants. After cutting up the wheat, Arhan picked them up and moved them to another place. He thought about how his father's stories had so many holes in them. The idolized figure in the portrait, who is the founder of the family, looked odd to Arhan. No matter how much he looks at the portrait, the founder didn't resemble him and his father at all. Even the sword that was passed down in his family looked weird to him. For something that was supposedly made hundreds of years ago, it is way too sharp and intact. The weirdest thing about the stories was that there was no mention of Liam Caravan, the founder of the family, in any of the kingdom's history books. Arhan couldn't find a single thing in the books. Based on what he saw, Arhan concluded that the stories were just tall tales that were made up to give the descendants something to be proud of. While he was thinking, Arhan looked at the cart containing the wheat. Someone called out to him and asked him about why he is zoning out. When Arhan turned around, he saw a man smiling at him. The man told him that it is time for their snack break. A man sitting on the ground told him that they will eat all the warm bread if he doesn't hurry. An elderly man told him that he will eat it by himself. Arhan asked them to wait for him. A woman hit the elderly man in his back to stop him from choking on the food. Our boy smiled when he saw this. He asked himself if it matters that the caravan family is not a great family. Everyone there welcomed him, and he loved this place because he got to live with the people there. This was the caravan that Arhan wanted. He loved the way things were. He ran to the villagers with a bright smile on his face. Unfortunately for Arhan, this peaceful and loving place was about to be gone. Later in the evening, Arhan got on a horse and told the villagers that he has harvested enough for today. He informed them that he is heading to the market in the neighboring town. He told them that he will pick up the things they need while he is there. He asked a man known as Kuan if he would like some apples. He recalled that Kuan has been grumbling about the fact that he hasn't seen any fruit for a while. Kuan laughed and told Arhan that apples would be nice. Arhan turned to a woman known as Marino and told her that the birthday of her youngest daughter is coming up soon. He told Marino that he will get her daughter a pretty doll if he sees one. Marino smiled and asked him about how he knows about her daughter's birthday. Arhan winked at the woman and told her that he knows everything. He reminded her that he is going to be the next lord of the land. After saying this, Arhan rode his horse forward and waved his hand to them. He told them that he will see them later. The villagers asked Arhan to have a safe trip. Arhan smiled brightly as he rode his horse forward. After our boy left the area, Kuan said that there is no one like their young master. An older man agreed with him. He said that their young master is different from other nobles. A woman said that she is worried that some young lady will try to snatch Arhan up. Kuan smiled and said that they need to finish the rest of their work before it gets too late. He reminded some women that they will be having their regular meeting with the Lord today. Immediately he said this, his head got split apart. The women were shocked to see blood gushing out of Kuan's head. Before they could do anything, Their heads got split apart, their blood splashed on the wheat. A man walked past them and said that this land must be erased. The moment he said this, the other villagers nervously turned around. One of them asked the man about his identity. The man ignored him and walked past the villagers with his sword. He said that this land must be erased. The moment he said this, every single person there got torn apart. The man continued walking as if nothing happened. Later in the night, we see a doll and some apples fall to the ground. The items fell from Arhin's hands. The boy was horrified to see what was in front of him. He saw the bodies of the villagers lying on the ground. He didn't understand why everyone was on the ground. While he was frozen in shock, a man appeared behind him. With tears in his eyes, the man covered Arhin's eyes and asked him not to look. Arhin called out to his butler and told him that something is wrong. He told the man that he is seeing things. He began to cry. The butler informed him that a swordsman came there and said that the caravan should be erased. It only took the swordsman 10 minutes to wreak havoc in the village. He wielded his blade with a cold indifference. He appeared out of nowhere and took the lives of half of the villagers in 10 minutes. He destroyed the houses with a single swing of his sword. While destroying everything, the man said that he is just following orders. Half of caravan fell and was erased without a trace by a single disaster known as a sword master. Arhin and his butler went to the mansion. Our boy saw the bodies of the maids and servants on the ground. He couldn't process what his eyes were seeing. Several servants were beheaded. Arhin grabbed his hair. He slowly fell into despair before he could completely lose his mind. Someone called out to him. Arhin was shocked to hear the person's voice. He quickly turned around to see his mother. Amidst this unexpected, terrible disaster, a glimpse of hope finally appeared for our boy. The woman ran forward and hugged her son. She was so happy to see that he was alive. She told him that she is glad to see that he is safe. Arhin held his mother tightly. In this moment, the warmth of his mother's embrace brought a fleeting sense of relief. While he was holding his mother, Arhin saw his father in front of him. The Lord held his family's flag with eyes filled with despair. He asked about why this happened. Unfortunately for him, the tragedy just began for their family. For some reason, the sword master wiped out half of the caravan territory, but he did not harm Arhin's parents. He simply left them with some words. The sword master told the defeated lord that he will return in a month. He asked him to leave the territory with everyone if he wishes to live. Tears filled the lord's eyes. He screamed and asked the man about why he is doing this. He asked him to tell him the crime that their family committed to deserve this. The sword master ignored him and turned around. With a sad look in his eyes, he said that he is just following orders. After he left behind his incomprehensible words, the villagers began to leave the village one by one. Although it was the only way to save their lives, the caravan family weren't even given this choice. Arhin's father was crushed by the weight of his responsibility and his powerlessness as a lord. His mind broke. He began to hit his head on a wooden board. He took out a book and said that he is a great knight who hunts nightmares. He told himself that he is the iron-blooded guardian who protects the kingdom. He said that it is his solemn duty to behead the great evil that will come soon. He swore to the heavens that he would never give up. The scene shifts and we see Arhin's mother smiling at him. She revealed to him that she instructed the butler to prepare a carriage. She told her son that he will leave the territory with the butler and go as far away as possible from the territory. Arhin asked his mother to not say this. He told her that she needs to leave too. He said that they can take his father with them. His mother told him that his father can't leave this place. She explained to him that her husband will want to face the enemy as the Lord of Caravan until the very end. She said that she will be with her husband as his partner until the very end. Arhin began to cry when he heard this. He begged his mother to follow him. His mother asked him to remember that the stories his father told him weren't true. She said that all the tales of a righteous guardian and an invincible protector are nothing more than a history filled with lies. She asked Arhin to make her a promise. With eyes filled with desperation, the woman asked her weeping son to promise her that he will never wield a sword in his life. She asked him to promise her that he will survive no matter what. She asked him not to even think about taking revenge. She helped him clean his tears and asked him to live for himself. Immediately she said this, the butler called out to her and informed her that the carriage is ready. Arhin grabbed his mother's hand when he heard this. The woman asked the butler to take good care of her son. She asked him to make sure that Arhin gets as far away from there as possible before the sword master comes. The butler accepted his mistress's order. He dragged Arhin away with tears in his eyes. While he was dragging our boy, he called out to his mother. His mother simply closed her eyes. The butler told Arhin that they need to go. Our boy still called out to his mother. With tears in her eyes, the woman told her child that she loves him. She returned to the mansion to see her husband still hitting his head on the wooden board. The man seemed to have completely lost his mind. His wife hugged him from behind and asked him to stop suffering alone. She told him that she will be with him until the very end. A while later, we see the butler riding the carriage through the forest. He told his young master that he understands that this is an incredibly painful and devastating situation. He told Arhin that he has to endure it. He said that their opponent is a calamity, a natural disaster that humans like them cannot possibly overcome. The man explained to Arhin that he needs to accept this tragedy for what it is and forget about it if he wants to continue living. He assured him that the Lord and his wife would have wanted him to do this in order for him to live on. The moment he said this, the man turned around. He saw that his carriage was empty. Arhin was already running towards the mansion. He ran there with a crossbow on his back. No matter how much he thought about it, he couldn't just leave on his own. He couldn't leave his parents behind. Arhin couldn't run away alone. Although the mysterious man was called a calamity, Arhin still believed that a sword master was still just a man. He told himself that the sword master is a man who will die if an arrow pierces his heart. Our boy spent the last month preparing a deadly poison. He was certain that he will be able to protect his parents if he can hit the sword master with his arrow. The moment he arrived at his mansion, Arhin saw something horrifying. He saw his father's head tied to his family's flagpole. The sword master stood next to the body of Arhin's mother. He told our boy that he is foolish. He turned around and asked him if he has come to embrace death, even though he granted him mercy. Arhin screamed out in pain. He saw his mother's body lying on the ground. Tears filled his eyes. He raised his crossbow and screamed out. He told the man that he will kill him. The sword master glared at him when he heard this. The moment he did this, Arhin got beheaded. This didn't actually happen. Arhin just got the sense that he was going to die if he did anything. He fell to his knees and struggled to catch his breath. The sword master walked forward and told Arhin that he is not yet 18. He asked him to consider himself lucky. He told our boy that he won't take his life today. He asked him to drown in his despair. He walked past Arhin and told him that there won't be a single trace of the caravans left on the continent. He told Arhin that he will find him if he dares to continue his bloodline. He said that the caravan should simply disappear like this. After he left, Arhin ran to his mother. Tears poured down from his eyes as he held her body. He told himself that he is pathetic for not being able to do anything. He held his mother tightly and cried out loud. He screamed out in pain. He lost everything on this day. At least this is what he thought. One day, the founder's sword began to glow. The sword asked him to show some respect. Arhin was shocked to hear this. The sword released some energy. The energy took the shape of a man. It took the shape of the founder. Liam Caravan referred to Arhin as his descendant. The scene shifts, and we are taken back to the past. It has been a year since Arhin buried his parents and his servants in one corner of his estate. During the past year, Arhin prepared for his revenge. He researched on the pinnacle, the one who is currently hailed as the strongest sword on the continent, the guardian who protects the kingdom's peace. The righteous sentinel who eradicates evil, a superhuman with the most brilliant talent on the continent. His name is Carlos. He is known as the wielder of the 10 swords. This is the name and the title of the man who took everything away from Arhin. Unfortunately, the truth still remained shrouded in mystery. Arhin didn't know why Carlos killed his family. He didn't know about who supported the decision and the kind of secrets that his family holds. There was only one thing that was clear to him. The lives of all the people who died in vain will never return. While carrying out his research, Arhin came across something. He saw the founder's sword glowing. He wondered if the unsolved mysteries have finally driven him to madness. He watched the sword release some energy. He saw the energy take the shape of the founder. He heard Liam ask him to show him some respect. Arhin thought that everything about his family was a lie, but what stood in front of him was the ancestor from the legends. He couldn't understand what was happening. As the rain outside poured heavily, Arhin reminded himself that he has heard about something like this before. He clenched his fist. and told himself that those who have suffered severe mental shock often experience hallucinations. However, Arhin couldn't simply dismiss what was in front of him. The spirit in front of him told him that he can sense his wavering. He asked Arhin if he is afraid that he has truly gone mad, or if he is paralyzed by the fact that the ancestor he dismissed as a fantasy has appeared before him. Arhin was surprised to hear this. He asked the man if this is really reality. He asked him if he is truly the founder of the Caravan family and the strongest sword master in history. He asked Liam to tell him why he is just appearing to him now if he is truly the person from his father's heroic tales. As lightning struck, Arhin asked Liam to tell him why he is coming now after all this time. He grit his teeth out of anger and glared at Liam. Liam crossed his arms and told him that it is because he wanted to test him by himself. He explained to Arhin that revenge is an ordeal that shouldn't even be started unless a person is prepared to give up everything. Due to this, Liam watched our boy every single day for the past year. He told Arhin that he must also recognize that he has no talent. Despite the fact that our boy has no talent, his obsession never allowed him to let go of his sword even for a single day. Also, his will never wavered even for a single moment. Liam reminded Arhin that he asked him about why he is just appearing now. He told him that the answer to this is simple. He revealed to him that the hatred in his eyes has finally reached the depth that he desires. Liam said that his second reason is because his own patience has reached the limit. He said that the murderous intent within him wants to tear apart the man who brutally slaughtered his descendant and the people of his land. Liam told Arhin that there is one fact that has never been disproven throughout the history of the continent. Only a sword master can kill a sword master. He told our boy that he swings his sword with such stubbornness because he is also aware of this. He stretched out his hand and explained to Arhin that he will never be able to catch up to Carlos on his own even if he trains for a lifetime. A sword master is a transcendent existence. They have gone beyond the limits of humanity. They possess a level of skill that even the so-called geniuses can never hope to reach. Even among sword masters, Carlos is a transcendent being who stands far above the rest. Liam explained to Arhin that there were only a handful of warriors as skilled as Carlos during the Age of War. He said that no one in this age can kill Carlos. As time passes, he will become even greater. Arhin couldn't believe what he was hearing. He now understood that he had no chance of winning. He was already aware of how vast the gap between him and Carlos was, but he never thought that it was beyond difficult. He couldn't believe that Liam was telling him that it is impossible for him to get his revenge. He couldn't accept the fact that he had to stand by and watch the bastard who took everything away from him enjoy the life of a hero. He realized that he has once again become powerless. Liam told Arhin that things are going to be different from now on. He told him that he is going to help him become a sharper and stronger blade than Carlos. He assured our boy that he will be the one to judge the murderer as a member of the Caravan family. He said that there is only one path that a Caravan can take. Liam referred to Arhin as the descendant of the steel-blooded and asked him to eat his sword. Arhin was shocked to hear this. The scene shifts and we are taken to a smithy. We see several weapons inside the smithy. Arhin ignited the forge and placed a sword inside. Liam revealed to him that the Caravan bloodline is a mix of human and dwarven blood. He said that the bloodline began with him, the half-dwarf. He explained to Arhin that they did not gain the physical traits of the dwarves, but within their blood is a special ability passed down to the descendants of the Caravan family. This ability is the power to consume swords. By doing this, the Caravans made the memories and skills of the former wielder their own. This is how the Caravan family has been able to produce sword masters for generations. It is the source of the power that made them such a great family. Arhin never thought that he would hear about people inheriting power by eating swords. He knew that dwarves were friends of iron and fire, but he had never heard of such a bizarre ability. The entire situation made no sense to him, and the stories were a bit confusing. However, Arhin knew that the truth can only be proven by results. He knew that he didn't have the luxury to doubt anything. He turned to his ancestor and asked him to tell him how to consume the sword. Liam smiled when he heard this. He told Arhin that the method of consuming the sword is easy. He asked him to just heat the sword until the blade is soft enough. Once he is done, our boy needs to start eating it. Arhin raised his sword and moved it close to his mouth. He was quite nervous to eat the hot steel. He told himself that he might be trapped in a nightmare right now, or he has simply gone mad. He said that he might even be getting led astray by a mere phantom. However, Arhin didn't really care. As long as there was a sliver of chance, our boy was willing to take the risk. He put himself together and bit the hot steel. He screamed out in pain as the steel went down his throat. He felt like his entire body was burning. Arhin could feel fire in every part of his body. The hot sword fell out of his hand. Arhin fell to his knees and held his throat. He fell to the ground and tightened his grip around his throat. While struggling to put himself together, Arhin told himself that he needs to remember. He remembered how his people were slaughtered, how his father got beheaded, and how his mother lost her life. He remembered the face of the murderer. Arhin gathered his strength and picked up the remaining steel. He began to eat it. As he shoved it down his throat, he told himself that he will become one of them even if it costs him his life. He assured himself that he will become a sword master to kill Carlos. In the next scene, we see Arhin wake up in the smithy. He was shocked to see that he was alive. He couldn't believe that he did not get a single injury. He could still vividly recall the pain of chewing and swallowing the hot steel. He almost thought that everything that happened yesterday was a dream. Thankfully, this wasn't the case. Arhin turned to the side. He saw the sword hilt next to him. He knew that there would be no reason for only the sword hilt to be left there if he was dreaming. While he was thinking, someone told him that his mental fortitude is actually commendable for a person with a hopelessly weak body. Arhin turned around to see Liam. The old man informed him that some of his ancestors couldn't withstand the searing pain, and more than a few of them gave up. Liam asked Arhin if he believes his story now. He told him that all the legends of the caravan family that his father told him were true. He assured Arhin that he is not a mere hallucination. Arhin quickly went on his knees and bowed his head. He greeted the progenitor. Liam smiled and asked our boy to call him master. He said that everyone who has received his teachings have called him master. Arhin told him that he understands. He raised his head and asked Liam if he inherited his great power just like his father said. He reminded Liam that he mentioned that he could gain power by simply consuming swords. He told his master that he can't feel that much has changed. Liam cleared his throat and told Arhin that they have a little problem. He told him that the problem comes from him. Arhin asked him about what he means. Liam explained to him that his original plan was to have him eat his beloved sword and raise him to the level of a sword master. However, this didn't happen because his blood might have thinned over the generations. Liam explained to Arhin that he still inherited the ability to consume swords, but the ability to digest the power contained within the sword seems to have weakened considerably. Liam told our boy that it is impossible for him to fully digest the essence of his sword in his current state. Arhin was shocked to hear this. He put himself together and told his master that he understands. He said that he knows he is telling the truth. Liam asked Arhin if this is all he has to say. Arhin explained to him that he was already aware of his body's weakness. He told him that he is disappointed with the result, but he is quite grateful that another path remains open for him. Liam asked him about what he means. Arhin told him that he just said that it is impossible for him to digest the essence in his current state. This means that he will be able to handle the power one day. Arhin told his master that he basically needs to start with a sword that he can handle. This means that he just needs to find a sword that fits the current version of himself. Liam smiled when he heard this. He told his disciple that he already has the intuition of a sword master. He told him that they need to get a worn-out and well-used sword. He asked Arhin to guide him to an area where old shabby weapons are abundant. He told him that he will pick a weapon for him. Arhin took his master to a place filled with thousands of items. Liam said that the place is pretty gloomy. He told Arhin that necromancers would love a place like this. Arhin revealed to him that all the old things from the slums are gathered there. It contains worthless scrap metal and unusable weapons. Our boy told Liam that there is no place more suitable than this to seek a sword that meets his condition. Liam told him that this place is a good start. He looked around and said that he also used to devour swords in places where the smell of blood was thick. The swords were held tightly by the fallen soldiers. The axes were covered in mud and blood. There were spears with broken shafts rolling on the ground. Liam said that he ate everything with all his might. He did this to grow stronger and survive. With a crazy look in his eyes, Liam said that this place reminds him of those times. He told his disciple that they clashed without end to guard the sparks of life. They acquired several wounds. Some died on the same day, and others lived to see tomorrow. living in those days was a battle. In the midst of those struggles, countless lives were inevitably extinguished without trace, and yet, a select few leave behind a dazzling single point of light. Immediately he said this. Liam found a weapon, he pointed at it, and asked his disciple to take it. He told Arhan that he must devour this thin weapon as his second sword. 1 month later, we are taken to the caravan mansion. We see some men walking in the mansion. The men assumed that the place was abandoned. They didn't see a single person in the mansion and in the village. One of them suggested that a warlock might have used the mansion to experiment on living beings before. His comrade disagreed with him. He told him that they would have died immediately they stepped into the mansion if it was owned by a warlock. He said that some fallen noble is probably hiding there. He asked his comrade if he can't tell that the place reeks of the smell of the rich. The men sat down and laughed. They said that their luck has finally turned around. They believed that their job was going to be easy. One of them found an item while looking around. He informed his comrades that the daughter of a noble stays there. He raised the dress he found and told his comrades that there is a whole pile of fine women's clothes that are freshly washed. The man smelled the clothes and told his comrades that the scent is truly different. The bald one among them smiled like a lunatic and said that they will be able to have another kind of fun if they play their cards well. The men quickly gathered around to sniff Arhan's mother's clothes. Someone asked them to stop. The men quickly turned to the person. The person turned out to be Arhan. Our boy told the men that his mother liked things being tidy. He said that she truly hated it when her belongings were a mess. He asked the men to put down the dress and have a conversation with him. The men were surprised to hear this. They were relieved to see that the person who asked them to stop was a young boy. One of them said that he could be the son of the mansion's owner. Arhan asked the men if they came to seek food or simply get a place to stay. He asked them to give him an answer. He told them that he is willing to accept them as guests if it is for one of these reasons. The bald man was annoyed to hear this. He asked Arhan if he has lost his mind. He said that nobles have no common sense. He told our boy that he should have stayed hidden quietly. He asked him about why he crawled out to make a fuss. Arhan closed his eyes when he heard this. The man charged at him and asked him if he is eager to die. Arhan opened his eyes when he heard this. Something in him got activated. He stabbed the man in his stomach with a very thin sword before he could touch him. The man spat out some blood. Arhan told him that he now understands that they are intruders, not guests. Guys, we have come to the end of our video. If you guys want more of this recap, let me know in the comments section. Don't forget to like and smash that subscribe button for more recaps. See you guys later.